If you've consumed more content than you've created this week, you're trapped. And here's the thing that nobody tells you. The more you consume, the less capable you feel. You might find a life-changing idea, but unless you act on it, it won't stick. Overconsumption is a habit that stops 90% of creators from achieving their dreams, and I was one of them. In this video, I'm going to share with you why most creators get stuck and how I escape the trap, so you can too. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm James. I'm an artist and creative coach based in Taiwan, and on this channel, we talk about ways to live a more mindful and creative life. If you're stuck in this trap, don't feel guilty. I was there too. I was completely addicted to self-help books. I was obsessed with productivity systems, time management apps, motivation hacks, and a plethora of note-taking devices. I was chasing answers, looking for that one hack that would finally get the results I was after. But despite reading all those books, watching all those videos, and listening to all those podcasts, I failed to do one simple thing. Choose a task and just start. I had all these ideas for videos and articles, but none of them ever got made. I was drowning in information and the illusion of false productivity. What felt like progress was really recycled and repackaged information sold as hope and headway. In a world where we can have anything at the touch of a button, I'd forgotten how to be patient and that anything worthwhile actually takes time. When someone tells us we can get a six-pack or make millions in a few weeks, we believe the hype. But when it doesn't happen, we convince ourselves that we just need to read one more book, listen to one more podcast, or watch one more video. And here's the issue. Overconsumption destroys creative output. And here's the trap. You feel stuck, so you search for answers, and then you consume. But once you consume, you just feel overwhelmed with information and more paralyzed than you did before. Then you become stuck again, and you think, oh, I just need to watch another video. You search for things like how to be creative, motivation, artist advice. You consume 5, 10 articles, 3 podcasts. You feel informed, but just more paralyzed. Tomorrow you will repeat. You're not learning, you're procrastinating with permission. Your brain thinks watching someone else is the same as creating, but it's not. And deep down, you know it. There are 3 psychological traps at play, and I'm going to explain them for you right now. Trap number 1, false productivity. Your brain releases dopamine from consuming all the helpful content. You feel like you're moving forward without the risk of actually creating. You mistake information for transformation. The dopamine hit feels like progress, but it doesn't equal actual progress. Here's what this looked like for me. I was chasing answers, looking for that one hack that would finally get me the results I was after. I'd excitedly highlight books with a yellow highlighter or save them to my Readwise account, hoarding these diamonds I thought were life-changing. There was so much excitement around each highlight, each piece of collected information. Every time I saved something, I got this satisfaction. I was convinced I was becoming a better person, that I was growing, but nothing actually changed. Despite all of that, I failed to do one simple thing. Choose a task and just start. Because here's the trap. Your brain can't tell the difference between learning about something and actually doing it. When you highlight that perfect quote, when you save that tutorial, when you bookmark that article, you get a dopamine hit, the same chemical reward you get from actually creating. So your brain thinks, we did it, we made progress, but you didn't. You just felt like you did. And when I finally sat down to create, the idea would fade. It was overwritten by new information, by somebody else's method. I had collected diamonds, but I never built anything with them. Trap number 2, comparison paralysis. Every video shows you someone further ahead. Every tutorial makes you feel not original enough. You build an impossible standard before you can even start. This creates a dynamic of you versus everybody else's best work. This showed up most clearly for me when I take courses on how to start a business or create a digital product. I'd be going through the lessons, taking notes, feeling motivated, and then it would hit me. Wait, am I just ripping off the very thing I'm learning about? Why would anybody want my version of this? Why would anybody buy from me when this already exists and is probably better? I don't want to be one of those people who just repackages someone else's ideas. So I'd stop. I'd convince myself that I needed to find something more unique, more original, more mine. But here's the trap. By consuming so much, you've seen every angle. Every approach feels derivative because you've studied them all. You're not comparing yourself to one creator. You're comparing yourself to the combined highlight reel of hundreds. No idea survives that comparison, not even theirs. The truth, your voice, your perspective, your unique combination of experiences, that's what makes it original. But you'll never find that by consuming more. You find it by creating, iterating, and discovering what only you can say. You're not blocked by a lack of originality. You're blocked by overexposure. Trap number 3, input overload. Your ideas get overwritten before they mature. Creation requires mental space, and you have none left. This is a case of input versus output. When I finally sat down to create, I wouldn't know where to start. Everything felt overwhelming because I was overstimulated with ideas and possibilities. It was impossible to pick one thing and stick with it. The idea I'd been excited about yesterday, overridden by somebody else's method that I'd just learned. The project I wanted to start, replaced by a better approach from the latest video I watched. And here's the worst part. I wanted it finished now. I didn't want the messy process of creating. I wanted the result, the successful product, the money, the validation, because that's what I'd been consuming. But I didn't have experience actually making anything. Only experience consuming what other people had made. If you've been consuming instead of creating, you're not blocked, you're just full. Overstuffed with other people's ideas, voices, and methods. There's no room left for your own voice. The only way out, choose one thing and start. Not the perfect thing, just one. Here's the truth. Boredom equals ideas. Creativity needs boredom, real boredom. The kind where you're just sitting there, not scrolling, not researching, not optimizing. When was the last time you were actually bored? Like uncomfortably bored? Because that's when ideas come. That's when revelation happens. When your brain isn't being fed, it starts to create. But we've eliminated boredom from our lives. Every moment is filled with content. Every waiting room, every commute, every bathroom break is consumed. For me, I'd quit social media a long time ago. I only had one addiction left, YouTube. And it was a huge problem for me. But it wasn't just YouTube. I was filling my downtime with information. Walking, driving, I'd always have an audio podcast on. Doing the dishes, folding laundry, every task was turned into an opportunity to consume. And the shift that changed everything for me was I started to schedule time to be bored or be creative. And here's the key. I used a website and app blocker to enforce it. I personally use Freedom.to. It's a paid app, but there are many free alternatives out there. I like Freedom because I can schedule my blocks for the whole week and it doesn't let me undo it. I can't end a session early. It's non-negotiable. So when I go to click on a website or app, it comes up saying, you're free. And I'm reminded, oh, okay, I need to make something now. And the truth is, if I don't want to create something during that time, that's absolutely fine, but I can't consume either. It's a simple ultimatum. Either I do the work or I do nothing. And do you know what? Something amazing happens when your only options are to create or stare at a wall. You tend to be drawn to create because this taps into the psychological principle of productive discomfort. When we remove easy dopamine sources, the brain naturally seeks engagement through creation rather than remaining unstimulated. It's the same reason people have their best ideas in the shower. There's no competing inputs. When I first tried this, it was uncomfortable. We're so used to being overstimulated that sitting and doing nothing feels awful. But soon those creative projects that seemed impossible to start, they start looking really tempting. They look fun and way more enjoyable than sitting and doing nothing. So eventually you just start. I mean, what else is there to do? Boredom plus discomfort equals creation. And once you finally start, flow usually follows. An object in motion stays in motion, right? And here's what I found. When I didn't fill my downtime with content, ideas would bubble up and surface. Solutions to problems I was having became obvious. This is because when you're bored, your brain activates the default mode network, the part of your brain associated with mind wandering and internal thought. It's really the seed for creativity. Another surprising benefit of not filling all of your day with content every minute is I'm actually so much happier and calmer. I have more ideas, my creativity is returned in abundance, and not because I learned some new technique, but because I finally gave my brain space to think. Which brings me to the creation first rule. So here's the actual framework that pulled me out of the trap. I use rule number 1, schedule boredom. To block out creative time, I use app and website blockers to make this non-negotiable. I schedule blocks for specific parts of my day so that I'm reminded to create and not get trapped down a rabbit hole. No consumption is allowed during this time, only creation or nothing. And here's the key to getting over an addiction like YouTube. You need to give yourself a little bit of permission to use it at least during some part of the day. So don't try and quit altogether, that rarely works. I personally schedule my app to block YouTube for 23 hours of the day, and I give myself 1 hour in the evening to watch. This also acts as a window for me to upload my videos. And you don't need fancy systems or apps. I wasted years jumping from one tool to the next. Every type of to-do app, time blocking, calendar app, complicated note setups and dashboards in Obsidian, Notion, and even paper Zettelkasten. It was ridiculous. Every time I wasn't being productive, I blamed my system. I switched apps when in reality, it was the same list on the same app. I just wasn't doing the work. So what actually works? I recommend writing 1 to 3 of your most important tasks down on a piece of paper and then just doing those and avoiding everything else. Rule number 2, create more than you consume. It's really that simple. The creators you admire aren't consuming more than you. They're consuming less and creating more. Rule 3, morning creation block. Before you open social media, YouTube, or any other input, I recommend that you first have a creative hour that happens before the world fills your head. Protect this mental space like it's sacred, because it is a sacred time. If you don't know what to create, I personally recommend journaling. It's an easy creative act that can inspire more ideas later. You just write whatever's in your head, no filter, no editing. It just releases all the negativity, the gunk, and whatever else is flowing around in your head. It's a practice of listening to what comes up, almost meditative. Over time, you begin to notice patterns and trends which can help you change behaviors or the way you think. I usually get ideas for content coming up, things I'm mulling over, pondering, or thinking about. Until you actually write down and start to form your thoughts, you don't actually know what you want to create. For me, this journaling process equals clarity. So these are just some of the ways that have cut down my screen time and helped me become more creative. Now, here's the dark truth. If you don't change this, you'll spend another year learning. You'll wake up with a library of saved videos, a bookshelf full of productivity books, hundreds of highlights in Readwise, and 0 finished work. A year from now, you'll still be searching for the perfect method. Still convinced that the next course will be the one that finally clicks. Still watching creators who started after you but actually shipped something. The algorithm wants you consuming. Your dopamine system wants you consuming. But your future self needs you creating. And here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. Your dreams slowly start to die. Not because you'll stop wanting them, but because you'll stop believing they're actually possible. Every day you consume instead of create, that belief gets quieter. I really implore you to stop looking for the perfect method and start making imperfect work. That's really the only way out. If this hits you and you recognize yourself drowning in information, then you know what to do. Stop watching this video and go and create something. But then again, if you want to keep watching more videos, then why not watch another one of mine? Go watch this one here where I break down why you don't need motivation to start. It'll show you the exact mindset shift that makes creation inevitable instead of optional. If this video didn't work, maybe that one will. Bye-bye.